At the end of this topic, you will be able to define transportation, analyze circulation in animals, connect the diffusion process with circulation in unicellular animals, criticize diffusion for not being fit into higher animals' circulation, explain the circulation in human body, role of heart and blood vessels, reason out the importance of lymphatic system in transportation. Animals are complex creatures and require food and nutrients for their life activities. A nutrient, together with oxygen and water, is supplied to all parts of the body via circulatory system. Circulatory system is the main transport system in the body and is one of the keys that make all other bodily functions possible. Unicellular microscopic organisms like amoeba and paramecium, the useful substances are distributed by a process called diffusion. Diffusion is a process where molecules from a highly concentrated area move to a place where there are fewer molecules. Many molecules diffuse across cell membranes. It is a spontaneous and automatic process. Gases diffuse into the cell of a protozoan. Oxygen enters into an amoeba and paramecium through the cell membrane and diffused in all directions at the rate approximately equal to the rate of oxygen consumed during respiration. Similarly, carbon dioxide diffuses out of an amoeba and paramecium with sufficient speed. Diffusion of oxygen makes the animal to survive, and expulsion of carbon dioxide prevents the accumulation of harmful substances within the cell. Diffusion is a slow process. Diffusion is not sufficient for adequate distribution of oxygen and food and removal of waste. The cells in the multicellular organisms are tightly packed. In case of them relying on diffusion, the cell in the middle region is deprived of oxygen. Hence, most large organisms do not rely on diffusion for their supply of food and oxygen. The circulatory system in the human body's transport system. There are two vital circulatory systems in the human body, such as blood vascular system and lymphatic system. Blood vascular system is made up of a group of organs, namely heart, lungs, blood vessels. The heart pumps the blood, lungs purify the blood, and the blood vessels called arteries, veins, and capillaries transport it.
Blood vessel. Blood vessels are hollow tubes that carry blood. They are spread throughout the body. Blood vessel consists of arteries, veins, and capillaries. You can view the blood vessel with artery, capillaries, and vein. An artery is a blood vessel that carries blood away from the heart. Generally, arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary and umbilical artery. Capillaries are small blood vessels which connects arteries and veins. They help in the exchange of water, oxygen, carbon dioxide along with nutrients and waste materials between arteries and veins. A vein is a blood vessel which carries blood towards the heart. Generally, veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary and umbilical veins. Let us see the cross-section of artery, vein, and capillary. The wall of an artery consists of three distinct layers of tunics, namely tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica adventitia. Tunica intima is the inner layer of the artery. It is composed of simple epithelium called endothelium. The layer lies on elastic connective tissue. Tunica media forms the bulky middle layer of the artery. It is made up of smooth muscle fiber. Tunica media is encircled by a thick layer of elastic connective tissue. Tunica adventitia is the thinnest and outermost part of the three layers. It has connective tissue with irregularly arranged elastic fibers. Lumen is a central channel in which the blood transportation takes place. The wall of a vein consists of three distinct layers, namely tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica adventitia. Tunica intima is the inner layer of the vein. It is composed of simple epithelium called endothelium and basement membrane. Tunica media is the poorly developed middle layer of the vein. Compared to tunica intima, it has less smooth muscle and less elastic connective tissue. Tunica adventitia is the thinnest and outermost part of the three layers. It has poorly developed connective tissue and elastic fibers. Lumen is a central channel in which the blood transportation takes place. The wall of a capillary consists of a single layer of endothelial cells and a central lumen, where the endothelial cells is a lining of flat cells in the inner layer of the blood cells such as capillary, artery and veins. And lumen is a channel in which the blood transportation takes place.
Heart pumps the blood to lungs for oxygenation. The oxygenated blood is returned to heart and leaves the left side of the heart and enters the biggest artery called the aorta. The aorta branches into arteries, in turn into capillaries. Blood enters into capillaries which supply nutrients and oxygen to the cells and takes in carbon dioxide, water and waste. The blood, which no longer contains oxygen and nutrients, then goes back to the heart through veins, then to lungs to pick up oxygen and eliminate waste carbon dioxide. The lymphatic system is another major circulatory system in our body and also acts as a defense system. It filters out disease-causing microbes, produces white blood cells and generates disease-fighting antibodies. It distributes fluids and nutrients in the body and drains excess fluids and protein, which prevent swelling and maintains the shape of the cell. It is made up of a network of vessels which carry excess fluid away from the spaces between tissues and organs and drain it to the bloodstream.
Lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the system that consists of thin tubes which run throughout the body. These tubes are called lymph vessels or lymphatic vessels. The lymphatic system is similar to the blood circulation system in that the tubes branch through all the parts of the body like the arteries and veins that carry blood. Various lymph nodes which are situated in the various parts of the body are shown here. A closer view of the lymphatic node with blood vessels is shown here. Similarly, a closer view of the lymphatic tissue and tissue cells is shown here. In a human body, lymph is a clear fluid that circulates around the body tissues. It contains a large number of lymphocytes, which are otherwise called white blood corpuscles or WBCs. When the blood plasma leaks out of the capillaries to surround and bathe the body tissues, it forms the lymph. This then drains into the lymph vessels. The fluid, now called lymph, then flows through the lymphatic system to the biggest lymph vessel, the thoracic duct. The thoracic duct then empties into the blood.
In this topic, you have learned
Animals require food and nutrients for their life activities, and circulatory system supplies nutrient with oxygen and water to all parts of the body. Unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium, the useful substances are distributed by a process called diffusion, but it is a slow process for multicellular and large animals, so they possess circulatory system for transportation. Two vital circulatory systems in human body are blood vascular system and lymphatic system. Blood vascular system is made up of a group of organs, namely heart, lungs, blood vessels. The heart pumps the blood, lungs purify the blood, and the blood vessels called arteries, veins, and capillaries transport it. The lymphatic system acts as a defense mechanism, filters out disease-causing microbes, produces white blood cells, generates disease-fighting antibodies, distributes fluids and nutrients in the body, and drains excess fluids and proteins away from the spaces between tissues and organs and drain it to the bloodstream.